I welcome you to this session entitled Before 2012 and After 2012. This topic is based on the importance of 2012 when the last era ended. The last era was about the human mind that was, or rather, that is based in Europe. 2012 marks the end of the era of the human mind, and the human mind is about time and space. The human mind is about the Big Bang universe. The human mind is about confusion and conflict. It's about hell and suffering, about fall and descent of human life on earth into the era of time and space. It's extremely important, even though those who ought to be responsible for telling the truth about the end of the words of time and space, persons who ought to know didn't really know. And especially in Africa, they have not told us anything about the end of time and space in 2012. We have heard it mentioned in every culture, every movement, in everything that's important in this world. We have had the end of the world talked about. But this the end of this the world that ended in 2012. That war that ended in 2012. That end was, or rather, is of the world outside Eden, the world that is about the land full of thorns and thistles. That world where man and woman was standing outside Eden ended in 2012. And that's what, and the Bible talks about it, even though not clearly. Because the Bible started from Genesis, with man and woman standing outside Eden. And it was clear that they were completely outside of Eden. Instead, man and woman were chased out of Eden. They were, expelled from Eden. So Genesis started with man and woman standing outside Eden. That's humanity, man and woman, a mature individual standing outside Eden. So from Genesis up to Revelation was about this man and woman standing outside Eden. Genesis up to Revelation never told us anywhere that man and woman had returned to Eden, where they came from. Let us not go into the cradle, the source, the origin, the foundation that man stand on, but the foundation that man stands on. Let us not go into that now, because we're talking about before 2012 and after 2012. But the book, or most of the scriptures on earth, are about human life on earth outside of the the heaven or Eden that is popular. The other world, the great beyond. Human life on earth that is external, that is outer, outmost, and downmost. But after 2012 is about human life on earth, focus on the inner, inmost, and upmost. So that is just what occurred in 2012. But unfortunately, the religious groups and organizations didn't know that the word they are talking about, so-called word, if they understood the word they meant, the what is meant by 2012 and before and after, if they actually understood it, it's not even common. Nobody's talking about it because but we cannot ignore it. But the word, one word has ended, one era has ended, and another era has taken over. 5,105 years ago, man fell down. Humanity came down to Adam and Eve, the level of Adam and Eve, or male and female, standing outside Eden and receiving curses, receiving abuses, receiving sad and deflated. That is the position that is the situation that ended in 2012. Because that state of man is what I mean by the human heart, the human mind state. That is time and space. That's the Big Bang universe, the universe of confusion, universe of religion and science, separated, quarreling, in dispute. Science and religion remained in dispute throughout, leading to all sorts of conflict, all sorts of confusion, leading to contradiction, leading to a state of paradox throughout. Humanity never rested. Today you are talking about genocide in one part of the world. The next era we are talking about another thing altogether. And all these actions were focused on destroying children who didn't have anybody speaking for them. Children and women. They suffered a great deal throughout 5,105 years until 2012. So this era has come to an end, and it's so important that the end of the world of time and space in 2012 should not be ignored. It is the end of ignorance, the end of injustice, the end of inequality, the end of falsehood, the end of insecurity, the end of uncertainty, the end of unease, the end of disease, the end of lying, the end of sin, the end of disease. From 2012, man no longer needs to see himself or herself as a sinner. Man, because a sinner, every sinner is locked out of the divine state. Sin alone separates man from divinity. So most religions are based on man claiming to be a sinner. But sinlessness is much easier to practice than sin. Guilt feeling, the noise going on, and all that. So sin is disease. Sin is affliction and suffering. But you find people say, I'm a sinner. And this is extremely confusing. Because once you are a sinner, once you admit yourself as a sinner, that means you have no contact with divinity. That means you are lost. That means you are condemned, and you have condemned yourself to destruction and evil. And that's what has happened all through. So that era, happily, has come to an end. Came to an end in 2012. As from 2012, a new era entered. Actually, 2012 came as a catastrophe. The catastrophe and disaster came to a head. And with the end of 2012, this catastrophe was deflated through the World Wide Web that came. People think that the World Wide Web was a beautiful thing. It's not. Because the World Wide Web has given the impression that the intelligence or super intelligence of machines is superior to the intelligence or super intelligence of the individual. But if you get to the intra level of humanity, which is up to 60 to 99.9% of the brain, if you get to that level, you see that man is all knowing, man is almighty, man is eternal, infinite, and absolute. Because what you are, what I am, is not this physical body. And this issue must continue as it is today. Man is not the physical body. The physical body is a mere costume, a mere garment, a mere temple, a mere vehicle, a mere covering, a mere container, a mere surface, a mere periphery. It is not the real issue. It's not the real center, the core, the root, the cradle that the super being or the super self within you is. That which means the life and living within Eden is the life and living of the super self and the super being within you. But when you externalize and come to memory and imagination out of away from the life of being or super being, the super ancestor, the super spirit within you, when you externalize and come into time and space, into the Big Bang universe, away from the super universe within, then you become confused and you can access the machine because you have now descended to 1% of the brain where internet, machine and machine interact and do business on behalf of man. So man now forgets that there was a time when he was at the level of the interperson, man and woman. Man and woman is interperson. Adam and Eve is interperson. Even though at the level of Adam and Eve, man fell. Man had already fallen because at that level there was conflict. And when man and woman were seen or were found standing outside Eden, it meant downfall. It meant distance, not rising or not rise and ascent. It meant fall and descent. So when man now fell from that level down below to the level of the internet, the level of the internet is the third level, and that is where you get to one 0%, 1% of the brain, and at that level, man lost, man became contradiction, paradox, and all that. What Professor Claude Aki, as I said, called the war of all against all. So nobody was safe. Everything fell. Everything was down. That is why this era in which we are is the era of Africa, is the era of Nigeria. It is obvious to me because I've been part of this movement all through. In 2012, I was part of it. I was caught up and spent the whole day in heaven before I was released. So I came up in 2000, that is the 12th of December 2012. 12, 12, 12. That was a special day, extremely special. Those who remember, who go back or go to the internet to see it. So that day was a great day, but nobody knew. The whole world was just not aware. And that is why it's my duty to emphasize or to lay emphasis on the fact that 2012 must be taken very seriously. That's the beginning of the second coming of human heart super civilization, the second coming of the other world, the second coming of justice, second coming of integration and unification, second coming of conscience as distinct from the intellect, the second coming of beauty, of joy, of heaven, of greatness. Everything good has come back. And Africa has come back. Egypt has come back. The greatness of Africa has come back. Because the world looted Africa, stole from Africa, raped Africa, did everything in the last 5,105 years. But now is the turn of Africa. And Africa is going to produce superpower or superpower. Nigeria is still the leader of Africa. Nigeria is going to rise up now. It has started rising up. That's why you have a lot of people like this Nnamdi Kanu is not a bad force. Actually, Biafra is not a bad force. Biafra signifies justice. Biafra signifies equality. It signifies fairness. And Biafra is not even a Nigerian issue, actually. Biafra is a world issue. It's an African issue. Just that it's situated in Nigeria. So Nigeria is a great country that produced Biafra and other. So Biafra and the Juku, if you go back, are not negative issues. So nobody should destroy Nnamdi Kanu, because I've seen him on television and I see that he himself is not aware of what is driving him. What is driving him is the divine being within him, the divine self. That's what is driving him. I've looked at him carefully and I watch him. He himself is not in control. He doesn't know what is happening to him. So people, Nigerians should not get destabilized. It's wrong to be destroying. First, you are destroying Abiola. First, you are destroying Claude Aki. Professor Claude Aki was destroyed. Then you destroy Sarawiwa. You destroy Obiwali. You destroy Azigboro. Now you are talking about Nnamdi Kanu. You want to destroy again. Why do Nigerians have inferiority complex? If they see people who are stars and they are behaving like stars, they want to destroy. They want to destroy. Can't you engage them? Engage them. You have political parties, you have government, you have other. You can engage them and then see what comes out of that. Rather than destroying and destroying. And as we destroy, we go down. As you destroy Kodake, you go down. As you destroy Abiola, you go down into barbarism. The country gets destroyed. Everything is going back. So let us stop destroying and engage people who come up, who are driven by the spirit within. Because it's the spirit that's driving Nnamdi Kanu. It's the spirit that drove Abiola. It's the spirit that drove Ken Sarawiwa. It's the spirit that drove Obiwali. It's the spirit that drove everybody that is being driven. Like I am now, I'm speaking because the spirit in me is driving me. So people should not think of destroying me. Rather, they should think of engaging me because I want to come out and help Nigeria. Nigeria is destined to develop. And people from outside Africa will seek visa, seek permission to come to Nigeria and benefit. That's what is going to happen in this new era from 2012 up to the next 5,105 years. Thank you very much for listening.